There we go. Hello, hello. I'm here to do a review on the Zotac Twin Edge 3070 overclock. So right off the bat, it's small, it's quiet, and I love that. Small form factor is going to reduce the risk of damaging your PCI ports from the monitor the computer shaking, dropping, being banged around, or loose connections. It's a lot lighter and it's shorter than the other two overclock cards. And compared to them, this one holds up pretty well. I'd say it's second overall to the MSI, and it's better than the Gigabyte 3070. The reason is that the Gigabyte 3070 underperforms, sometimes gets outperformed by this 2-fan card, even though it's a 3-fan card, and seems to have heat issues, noise issues, just a bunch of stuff. In terms of the MSI card, it's a bit faster. It handles heat well and sound, but I don't like MSI. They got terrible customer service, and your card better not break or you start collecting thoughts and prayers right now. The overclocking headroom on this card was quite a bit more than I thought for a twin fan card. I was able to push the boost clock to a peak of 2020 megahertz from its 1755 megahertz stock boost clock using NVIDIA's tuning feature here. When you open this normally, it'll just say scan. Once you scan for about 10 minutes, it'll give you a result and it'll automatically apply that result. I'm sure if you manually overclock the card, you can get better results yourself, but I don't have that time or patience for my card to be unstable. I just need it to run. I've ran it at close to 90% load for the past 18 hours straight, upscaling and doing game benchmarks, so I'd say it's pretty damn stable. Hasn't crashed so far since I overclocked it, so I can say you can comfortably run 2020 boost clock. In terms of it's worth mentioning, I have a small ass case, so that's actually gonna hurt the overclocking capabilities of the card and overall heat in the case itself, but it doesn't seem to be an issue. I never saw it go over 65 degrees, I believe, even at maximal load, which was over 2000 megahertz, and for a sustained period of minutes at a time, maybe even longer than that. So wouldn't worry about that at all. Also, the GPU power consumption is quite low with this compared to the other two overclock variants, which I like. You know, it's nicer for those people who have an older PSU like me. It's only a bronze PSU as well, so it's going to die any moment, but hopefully I can make it last a little bit longer. Now, in terms of the RTX 2080 Ti, does it hold up? I think it does on ray traced games. It actually outperforms it because of the better ray tracing cores. Even though there's less of them, they run much faster. And in terms of the 1440p and 4K, it's going to be a mixed bag. More 1440p than 4K. So it can outperform some of the games on the 2080 Ti in 1440p, but in 4K you're going to have some issues because of the 8GB DDR6 RAM limit, which is not very much, and it's not the GDDR6X, which is much faster. Personally, I think 8 gigs is fine for 1440p games, but if you're going to jump on like a 4K game without DLSS, you might run into some issues. You'll definitely have less frames than 2080 Ti for sure. A great example, I think, would be Microsoft Flight Simulator, where it just maxed out the fucking memory instantly. So that still a tough one to run. I don't know if it's just poorly optimized or what. In terms of so I wouldn't say it's truly a 4K card until they're able to find some kind of general DLSS thing that they don't have to use on games individually, because right now there's not too many games with DLSS available. So hopefully it becomes more widely available, but with AMD putting in their own DLSS standard, I don't know what they're going to call it, who knows? Game companies might be split into two separate camps, one with AMD DLSS and one with NVIDIA DLSS. And I hope that really doesn't happen, because, you know, you don't want to buy a card and be like, I can only play like half the games at a good frame rate, especially as this becomes more ubiquitous. So I hope they find some way to bridge the gap and find a universal DLSS software, if it's possible to develop it. I know it takes a lot of time and effort to run things through neural networks, so it might not be feasible at the moment, but maybe in the future they'll find a way. I'm sure they're working on a solution already. Whether or not that's possible, we'll see. Overall, I'd highly recommend it. There are two huge caveats to this. One is going to be NVIDIA Broadcast. You may have seen the automatic background removal and sound noise removal. It works really well in the app. It does not fucking work with OBS, no matter who tells you that. It will not work unless you have a computer just for streaming, because it slows it down to a fucking crawl. At 1755 boost before I overclocked this. It was running at that with OBS and the NVIDIA NVIDIA Broadcast on, and I couldn't even play YouTube video. It's unplayable. It's unwatchable. It's unwatchable. In terms of audio only, I haven't given that a shot yet, but it might work with Discord or other things. I know some people like Karis from Alpha Gaming have been able to get it working, but they also have it captured on a second computer, which I'm not going to buy. So fuck that shit. So don't sell your green screens yet, is what I'm saying. Although it does work pretty well, I don't know. I think it's a bug, but it just doesn't optimize well at all. The second thing would be the recessed 8-pin connectors in it. Now, if you look over here, you can't even see them. That's how deep it is in the card. Now, it's meant to be like pretty accessible, but the ironic part is that the heat fins here bend extremely easily. It's like fucking aluminum foil. So if you're trying to plug in a 6+2 connector, it's gonna come apart and it's gonna bend those fins. I've seen 3 reviewers already who have bent the card fins, and I have as well. I swear to God, it's impossible to get it in without bending them a little bit, but it seems to work just fine, so be careful. Just be careful. They're very thin, they're very soft. You can bend them with your fingers by accident, so you gotta watch out for that. Overall, I give it an 8 out of 10 official score due to the older VRAM and the hard memory limit, which is gonna make 4K a little bit more difficult. But I hope you enjoyed, and stay tuned. I'll do some PS5 testing and some gameplay. Cheers.